Hey, it's the Average Dan bringing you another video on the 1984 Fleetwood Wilderness camper. We've been hard at work, this being the last weekend that we have to finish things up before we head out for 3-day Memorial Day weekend. So really trying to wrap up all the loose strings and get ready to take this puppy on the road. So I'm going to take you around and show you a few of the things that we've done since the last video. There's really been a lot of progress, I think, since we posted the last one. So try to go in each one with a little bit more detail and let you know where we're at. When we got this camper, I'm not sure if it's original equipment or not, but it had this particular sink faucet in it. And the problem, if you could see, when this was situated right about here, and you had anything less than a strong current coming out of the hose, or coming out of the faucet, so a strong current would put you right about here. Anything less than that, it would hit the edge here and fill your entire counter up with water. So we went on to Amazon, our favorite place to be online, and picked up another faucet that had a longer head on it. Cost us like $24, I think. Got that installed. Relatively simple. You basically just need to go underneath this sink and you take the hoses off the end, lift it up out of the sink, and then basically put these back on. You have two of these that actually secure it to the sink, and then you have these that are supposed to go over the hoses that connect on the bottom, and they have this little cone-shaped washer. The cone should be faced up. So when you tighten it, it goes into the bottom of the fixture and creates a tight seal. Now, the one thing we ran into that had us a little perplexed here, and I don't know how often this is the case in campers, and I'm assuming it's aftermarket, an aftermarket issue. But if you can see, it's really dark in here. But if you can see the brass fixture on the right-hand side, that's actually, I think, what's called like a shark fixture. So instead of it having anything that you twist to unscrew, it's actually like a pressure fitting. So we had to do a little Google work to figure out exactly how to get that off there so we could twist it off and replace it. But in case you're wondering, there's a little tiny plastic sleeve just outside the brass or whatever it's made out of. And if you put a pair of pliers around the hose itself and slide it against that plastic ring while pulling the hose in the opposite direction, they pop right out. So it took us a few minutes and a little bit of frustration to figure out how to remedy that situation, but overall we were able to get that taken care of and get everything installed. So we'll take you around at some of the other, show you some of the other stuff that we've accomplished so far. All right, so here we have the finished bed with the dog crate in the bottom. The handles are on the cabinets. Top and bottom. We have the comforter made by my wife's grandmother in place. Mounted a television. Got this. This is a Scepter TVD DVD combo. Got it for like 150 bucks. On Amazon. It is on a swivel, or an arm that comes out and turns. I'm gonna do one touch up here, a little touch up paint on this paint job. It got a little disturbed. The new wallpaper in the kitchen. We now have custom made covers for the bench seats, compliments of my wife's mother. Very crafty up there in Madison, Wisconsin. Middleton to be precise. So those are nice. I'll try to get the before pictures of the material that was there. kids' beds are made up with their sheets and went with their sleeping bags for now. It's really hard to buy stuff that fits these bunks exactly, especially with this older model camper. So we bought twin XL mattress covers and sheets, and then they're just using these for comforters. Picked up a nice little television that I'm going to mount up here for them for $5 at a garage sale. Can't beat that. Still have a few supplies in here that we're going to put in the tub. The tub has been cleaned. Looks much better. Got a new shower head. We have a mirror. Be sure to subscribe to The Average Dan. You know, the beautiful floor turned out quite nicely. And my wife bought, so as you remember, we did this, we put in a new fridge. This is an electric only refrigerator freezer. And we took out the old one and ripped it out, and my father actually cut out this custom frame for it so it fit in there nice and snug. And then my wife found these wall adhesives that kind of tied in that with the border that she put in the kitchen, which was carried over to the actual bench seats. I'm going to try to show the before and after pictures because these were actually bright blue. We got them. These were bright blue over here, and so were the kids. So was the wood on the kids' bunk bed. So try to incorporate all the before and after pictures so you really have an appreciation for how great this looks now compared to what it did look like when we received it. So, alright, wanted to give you a look at the outside. Don't know how much time I've spent on the outside, but probably the most notable thing is this awning. It did not have an awning when we bought it. Actually found a guy who was selling this awning for $30. It was either on Craigslist or Facebook or wherever. So we bought it. It had a couple broken pieces that we had to replace. Had to replace the innards on one of the sliding arms. We had to get the brackets that attached it to the base of the camper. They're kind of like little claw-looking things that they lock into. Then we made those adjustments, and we basically found the only place on this side of the camper where it would fit. And that is right about there. It covers the door, gives us a nice little shaded area. The spring in it doesn't seem to be 100%, but it retracts it about 75% of the way. Then you got to help it. So that's a very mild inconvenience once per camping trip to roll that up the rest of the way. But how can you beat it when we only paid $30 for the thing? I'd say probably maybe I spent $75 total if you include the parts that I bought. So we got that mounted, and it works pretty good. It gives us a nice outdoor space. So we picked up a couple folding tables to put under it when we set up. So now we're just kind of, this is our first actual travel trailer. So we are deciding what the materials or supplies we're actually going to need to use it on a regular basis. So it's got 2 tanks. We bought or 2 propane tanks rather. Bought a battery box and mounted that. Now these battery boxes are kind of funny the way they give them to you. They give them to you with a belt with 2 little screws, like you're gonna screw the belt. It's like into your camper frame somehow, and then use it to secure the battery box to the frame. It's completely idiotic. I don't know in what world there's going to be anything that you can screw them to be useful. If for some reason you already have a piece of wood in the battery box compartment, I guess that would work, but it seemed really stupid. I actually had to, it was quite the project to drill the holes to get this mounted, but it's nice and secure now. So we continue to move on here. So this is one of the very small compartments that really didn't go anywhere when we got it, but when we built the bed, we basically built it hollow and enclosed, so we have this storage area here. The people who had it before us siliconed the snot out of it, so I had to take a bunch of that off. They had like this cable connection here. It was a hot mess. It didn't really even go anywhere, so that's something that we kind of cleaned up, and I'm probably obviously not in time for this trip, but one of the things I'm going to try to do is I'm going to look for a bigger compartment door, maybe something that comes a little bit higher, that's generally this wide, and replace it all together with a bigger opening. So that's a little bit bigger project. We didn't want to tackle that before this trip, so we just left that as is. So when I got it, the plug, so the 30 amp plug that was on here, actually it was all taped up. So when I took the tape off, I realized that the screws weren't there anymore, and they basically just taped it closed, which wasn't very safe. So I got rid of that, and then this kind of threw me for a loop. I hadn't put a bunch of these on, and when I opened up this one, it had a metal or it had a plastic tube up the middle where the screw goes that keeps the top and bottom together. And my first thought was that, okay, the pins, like the actual pins, must slide out and be able to get to them, but they're really, really stiff. So then I second guessed myself, and I couldn't get them out, and I was like, how in the hell do you get the screws out of these damn things? But ultimately I actually ended up using a rubber mallet to get them out after I was sure they were supposed to come out, and then get them in there. So that's nice and secure and sturdy, and it's got a handle so you can like pull the cord if that's a challenge for you. And then this separate plastic piece here, this is the just the adapter from 30 amp to your standard connection. So that's what that is. But we replaced that. The tires were in good shape, didn't have to do anything with that. This is actually behind the fridge that we put in. So if you can see here, so that's the back of the fridge. You can hear that it's running. We actually built this wood frame under it to get it as high as we could. A little support back here to keep it from shifting in and out, and it's plugged in right there. That's the old propane that went to, because the refrigerators they normally put in these are electric / propane. That's capped off just out of view. So that's how we pulled that off. We bought a new poop tube that stores in the back bumper there. I'll put links to all the supplies that we actually bought, but didn't really want to use somebody else's poop tube because that's just kind of gross. So I'm gonna put my hands in unmentionables. Might as well be our own. All right, so I think I showed you these before, just simple levelers that we added when we bought the camper. We went through the whole hot water heater, made sure that it works. The other thing that's not quite obvious with this system, when we were trying to light the pilot, so there's an option for the pilot, so you turn it to the pilot, you try to light it and nothing happens. This is because it's actually a spring-loaded knob, so when you're lighting the pilot, you actually need to turn to pilot and then keep turning and hold it, and that actually releases, I guess, enough gas to actually light the pilot, which is right inside here. Once you've done that, after it gets where it needs to, it actually lights up the whole furnace, and then you're good to go, and on your way to burning yourself with some hot water, as the diagram shows. So that's gonna do it for this video. We're heading out next weekend for our inaugural trip with this. I will try to post a video sometime after that trip with some actual hands-on camping, see how everything turned out, see if we prepared the way we should have and had everything we needed. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. It really does help. We're trying to get the subscription level up to help us in a bunch of different ways. So like the video, share your comments, good, bad, or otherwise. And until next time, this is The Average Dan.